There's a quiet power in stillness. Most men don't understand that. They think attraction is built through pursuit, through constant effort, calls, texts, gestures. But Stoic man knows better. He knows that sometimes the most powerful move is none at all. You see, when you chase, you disrupt your own gravity. The more you orbit around her, the more she feels she's the center of your universe. And that's when the balance shifts. She stops wondering about you. She stops feeling your presence when you're gone because you've never really left. But stand still, and everything changes. When you step back, not out of anger, not out of manipulation, but out of quiet confidence, you allow her to feel your absence. That's when memory kicks in. That's when curiosity creeps in. That's when desire grows not because you pushed, but because you paused. A Stoic man doesn't withhold to punish. He withdraws to recenter. His stillness isn't cold, it's controlled. His silence isn't passive, it's intentional. When you're always available, always reacting, always reaching, you become predictable. Predictability kills mystery. And without mystery, there is no longing. But when you stand still like a mountain, not moved by every passing emotion, not rattled by every fleeting message, she begins to feel the pull. She wonders what you're thinking. She replays the last conversation. She starts checking her phone more than she'll ever admit. That's not manipulation. That's nature. We miss what we can't access easily. We desire what feels strong on its own. We remember those who were disciplined enough to walk away, not in rage, but in peace. So if you want her to miss you, don't post cryptic quotes. Don't fake being busy. Don't play petty games. Just stand still, live, grow, train, lead. And when she looks over her shoulder, she won't see a man chasing. She'll see a man becoming. And that is exactly who she'll want to come back to. And once you learn to stand still, you begin to realize something even deeper. It's not just your presence that speaks. It's your absence. Let's talk about why pulling back, done right, is one of the most powerful moves a man can make. Power doesn't always shout. Sometimes power walks away and lets silence speak. A Stoic man understands this. You don't make a woman miss you by disappearing. You make her miss you by showing her what it feels like when you're no longer around. There's a difference. Disappearing is avoidance. Absence, when done with purpose, is presence, intensified. Most men think they have to constantly be seen, constantly remind her their worth. But the truth is, when your presence is constant, it loses its edge. It becomes background noise, expected, taken for granted. That's human nature. We don't value what we have easy access to. We value what demands the summit, what invites wonder, what creates a gap wide enough for desire to form. When you pull back, not with resentment, but with resolve, something powerful happens. She starts to feel your absence in the quiet spaces of her day. She thinks of your laugh when something's funny. She remembers your discipline when she sees chaos. She notices your silence and wonders why it feels so loud. This is not a trick. It's not about manipulating emotion. It's about reclaiming your energy, investing it back into your mission, your values, your growth. Absence is powerful because it's rare. It shows that you don't need constant validation, that your world doesn't collapse without her, that you are whole, even in the empty space. And ironically, it's that wholeness that draws her back. When she feels that you're not waiting, not chasing, not needing, she begins to remember what made you valuable in the first place. Not just what you said, but how you made her feel. Safe, challenged, respected, awakened. So here's the rule. Never withdraw as revenge. Withdraw as a return to yourself. That kind of absence, silent, sovereign, solid, is impossible to forget. While the world screams for attention, you become the calm she didn't know she needed. While others flood her inbox, you become the quiet standard she can't replace. While others try to prove their worth, you become the man who already knows his. That's the Stoic way. Absence not as punishment, but as proof of presence. Not as detachment, but as discipline. Not as rejection, but as a reminder. A real man doesn't chase. He builds a life worth being missed. But it's not just about stepping away. It's about what you're stepping into. Because the real reason she misses you isn't the silence. It's the life you live while you're silent. Let's explore why a life bigger than her is the most attractive thing you can offer. If she's the biggest thing in your world, you've already lost her. Not because she's not worthy, but because no woman wants to carry the weight of being your only purpose. A Stoic man knows your life must be bigger than her. Not in ego, but in mission. Purpose comes first. And when you live that truth, everything else, including love, falls into its rightful place. Too many men abandon their dreams the moment a woman enters their life. They trade ambition for affection, vision for validation. They become smaller, hoping she'll stay. But here's what they don't realize. A woman may like being wanted, but she'll respect a man who doesn't lose himself in the wanting. When you live for something greater, a mission, a calling, a standard, you become rare. And in a world full of men who compromise themselves for attention, rarity is magnetism. Your life must be full, even when she's not in it. Your goals should still wake you up in the morning. Your values should still guide your decisions. Your body, your craft, your mind, they should still be sharpened daily. Because here's the hard truth. If your identity depends on her attention, you don't love her, you need her. And neediness never inspires devotion. It breeds distance. But a man who builds something, whether a business, a body, a legacy, or a way of thinking, becomes unforgettable, not because he chased, but because he created a gravitational pull she couldn't ignore. So what does this look like? It looks like not skipping the gym because she's upset. It looks like sticking to your morning routine, even if she wants more time. It looks like choosing long-term purpose over short-term comfort. She will notice. She might even resist it at first. But deep down, she'll feel safer with a man who stands on something solid. Your stability is what makes her feel free. Your ambition is what makes her admire you. Your discipline is what makes her miss you. Don't live to impress her. Live to become the kind of man you're proud of when no one is watching. And in doing so, you give her something powerful to miss. Not just your presence, but your essence. That's what she remembers when you're gone. Not the texts, not the flowers, but the feeling of being near a man who knows exactly who he is. And when your life has meaning beyond her, something else happens. You don't have to explain everything. You become naturally mysterious. Let's talk about the power of mystery and how to let her wonder without saying too much. Why you should never reveal everything too soon. Let's talk about mystery. There's something powerful about not saying everything, not showing everything, not being fully known. You see, most men rush to explain themselves. They want to be understood, like accepted. So they tell everything about their life in the first few weeks. Their fears, their goals, their struggles, their past. But here's the truth. The more you give away too early, the less she feels a need to keep discovering. When there is no mystery, there is no chase, no tension, no reason to lean in. And once that spark is gone, it's hard to bring it back. A Stoic man knows how to pace a story. He doesn't hide who he is, but he doesn't hand it out like a free sample either. He lets people earn access, earn his trust, earn his time. That's what makes him feel rare. So what does this look like in real life? It means you don't always answer every question with full detail. If she asks what you did over the weekend, maybe you say you had a great day out in nature. You don't have to list every single thing. If something great happens at work, mention it briefly. Let her ask more if she wants to. And when she does, she's investing. She's showing curiosity. That's a good thing. Mystery is not about being secretive or playing games. It's about holding space for curiosity. It's about not rushing to fill every silence with information. It's about being comfortable in that silence. When a woman says she can't figure you out, that's a compliment. When she says she's always thinking about what you might be doing, that means she's drawn in. When she's texting just to check in, that's because you didn't flood her with updates. Let her miss you. Let her wonder. Let her lean in. And remember this. If you're always available, always telling, always showing, you become like background noise. But when you hold a little bit back, just enough, you stay interesting. You stay different. You become a book she wants to keep reading, a movie she can't stop thinking about, a man she can't forget. So don't chase, don't overshare, don't explain too much. Let your actions speak. Let your silence say something, because the less they know for sure, the more they feel. And the more they feel, the more they remember. But here's the mistake most men make. They build mystery, and then they ruin it by chasing. Now let's look at why real men with value, don't chase at all. A high-value man never chases. Not because he thinks he's better, but because he understands something most men don't. When you chase, you flip the balance. You give away your power. You lose your edge. Think about this. The more you chase someone, the more they start to run. Not because they don't like you, but because they stop seeing you as a man with purpose. They see you as a man with a goal, and that goal is them. And here's the truth. No one wants to be someone's only mission. A high-value man doesn't chase women. He attracts them, not through games, not through tricks, but through who he is, how he moves, what he stands for. He builds himself. He works on his goals. He keeps his standards. And because of that, people notice. You see, chasing says, I need you to feel good about me. But being high value says, I'm good with or without you. You're welcome to be part of this life, but I don't need you to make me whole. That's the shift. Chasing comes from lack. Attracting comes from strength. So, what does this look like in real life? It looks like this. You're not texting over and over when she doesn't respond. You're not clearing your whole schedule for someone you just met. You're not begging for attention, compliments, or validation. Instead, you're focused. You stick to your priorities. You show respect, not just for her, but for yourself. And women notice. They may not say it, but they feel it. Because deep down, everyone wants to be with someone who doesn't need them, but chooses them. Someone who has options, but still values connection. Someone who is grounded, even when others play games. That's why a high-value man doesn't chase. He walks with confidence. He leads with calm energy. He knows that the right people will feel his presence, and they'll move closer without him needing to run after them. So, don't chase. Stand still. Let her notice. Let her feel the space. Let her miss you. And remember this. If you ever feel the urge to chase, it's a signal, not to go after her, but to go deeper into your own mission. Build more. Train harder. Focus in. Because the man who's chasing success rarely has to chase love. And when you stop chasing, something unexpected happens. She starts to notice others noticing you. She begins to feel what life might be like without you. Let's talk about jealousy and how a Stoic man handles it with class and control. Let's talk about jealousy. Most people see jealousy as something ugly, something to avoid, something to hide. But here's the truth. Jealousy is just a signal. It tells us what we value, what we fear, what we don't want to lose. And a Stoic man, he never runs from that signal. He understands it. He controls it. And when used wisely, he can even use it to show his value. Now, before you misunderstand, this is not about making someone feel insecure. It's not about playing mind games. It's about living fully, so fully that your life speaks for itself. When a woman sees that you are out there, enjoying your life, surrounded by good people, doing things that light you up, she notices. And if she once had your attention, she will feel the shift. She might wonder where you are. She might start asking herself, why isn't he texting like he used to? She may not say it out loud, but deep inside, a little voice starts to whisper, is he moving on? That's not cruelty. That's clarity. You didn't disappear to hurt her. You just returned to yourself. Jealousy, when created through self-growth, is powerful. It shows that your world doesn't stop for anyone. It keeps turning. And that makes people realize what they could lose. So, how do you do this right? You don't post pictures just to make her jealous. You don't fake a smile for social media. You live. You show up. You build. You connect. When she sees you having a good time, not trying to prove anything, it hits different because she knows it's real. You're not doing it to get her back. You're doing it because your life matters, with or without her. A Stoic man uses jealousy the way a fire uses air. Not too much, not too little, just enough to fuel something stronger. You don't mention other women to make her feel small. You don't talk about your options just to boost your ego. You let her see on her own that you are not standing still. And when that realization hits, something powerful happens. She starts to feel the gap. She begins to remember how it felt to have your attention. And she starts to wonder if she'll ever have it again. That's not control. That's confidence. So don't force it. Don't fake it. Just live the life you were meant to live. And let her feel the quiet pull the man in motion. Because when you move forward with strength, without bitterness, without fear, that's when she feels the loss. And that's when you become unforgettable. But controlling jealousy isn't just about how you live. It's also about how you respond, or sometimes how you don't. Now, let's talk about how a real man responds with strength or walks away in silence. In today's world, most people react. They get a text. They respond right away. They see something online. They jump to comment. They feel an emotion. They let it take control. But a Stoic man is different. He doesn't react. He chooses how to respond. And sometimes he chooses not to respond at all. This is where true strength shows up. Let's say she sends you a short message. Maybe just one word. Maybe an emoji. It's not a real conversation. It's not effort. It's just a little test. Most men jump to reply. They think any attention is good attention. But not you. You don't chase breadcrumbs. You don't reward low effort with full energy. You pause. You think. You stay grounded. This doesn't mean you ignore her out of pride. It means you value your time and energy. It means you don't respond just to feel seen. You respond when there's something real to engage with. Because here's the truth. If you're always quick to respond, always available, always online, you send the wrong message. You tell her, I have nothing better to do than wait for your attention. And that kills attraction. Women may not say it, but they notice how you move. They notice your rhythm, your silence, your timing. And when you take your time, not to play games, but stay focused on your life, they start to value your attention more. That's what makes you stand out. So next time she sends a casual message, you don't need to drop everything. Finish your workout. Stay in your flow. Respond when you're centered. That delay, it's not disrespect. It's discipline. It says, I am not desperate. I am not waiting. I am building. And when you do respond, keep it calm, direct, clear, no extra words, no over-explaining, no nervous energy. A man who respects himself doesn't try to impress with words. He lets his tone do the work. He lets silence do the rest. And if you choose not to respond at all, that's okay too. Not every message deserves your time. Not every text requires an answer. Sometimes silence is the strongest response. Because a Stoic man knows this. Every time you respond without thinking, you give away a piece of your power. But when you respond with clarity or choose not to respond, you protect your peace. And peace is something every strong man protects at all costs. So don't react. Respond when it's worth it, or walk away when it's not. That's how a man moves. That's how respect is earned. That's how she remembers you, not as the guy who begged for her time, but as the man who never lost his. And when you do speak, when you do engage, timing matters. A powerful man doesn't wait to be dismissed. He knows exactly when to end the conversation. Let's break down why leaving her wanting more is a skill every man should master. There's a moment in every conversation when the energy is just right. You're connecting. She's laughing. Things feel smooth and natural. Most men, they keep going. They think, she's enjoying this, so I'll keep her talking. But what they don't realize is this. The moment to walk away is exactly when it feels best. That's how you leave a mark. That's how you stay on her mind. A Stoic man knows how to do this. He ends a conversation before it starts to fade. He doesn't wait for awkward silence. He doesn't let it drag until both sides run out of things to say. He steps away at the peak. Why? Because when you leave her wanting more, you stay interesting. You become the man who left a spark, not the man who stayed too long. You create space for curiosity, for memory, For replay, think about your favorite song. You don't love it because it lasts forever. You love it because it ends at the right time, leaving you hungry to hear it again. That's what ending early does. So how do you do it? Simple. If you're having a good text conversation, don't wait until it fades. Say something like, "This has been fun. I have to run, but let's pick this up later." If you're on the phone, hang up while she's still smiling. Leave her thinking, "I wish we talked longer." That's the goal. And this isn't about playing games. It's about self-respect. You're not walking away to create anxiety. You're walking away because your time is valuable, because you move with purpose, because you know life is bigger than one conversation, no matter how good it feels. A high-value man doesn't cling to moments. He creates them and then moves forward. This makes every interaction more meaningful. It makes your presence feel rare. And when something feels rare, people treasure it more. So don't overstay. Don't try to seal the deal in one talk. Give her space to feel something real. Because when you walk away at the right time, you give her something to think about. And that feeling, that unfinished moment, becomes a reason she wants to see you again. So next time the energy feels right, don't push it. End it with intention. Leave her smiling, curious, and a little bit wondering. That's how you stay on her mind. That's how you make an impression. That's how you make her miss you. Not with words, but with timing. A stoic man doesn't wait to be dismissed. He exits with strength. And that silence he leaves behind, it speaks louder than anything else. But leaving at the right time is enough. You also have to leave the right impression. Let's explore how to make her wonder about you, without ever making her feel insecure. There's a big difference between making her wonder and making her worry. A stoic man knows that well. He doesn't disappear to play games. He doesn't stay silent to create anxiety. He creates space, the right kind of space, so she can feel his absence, not fear it. Wonder keeps her curious. Worry pushes her away. So, how do you make her wonder in the right way? You stay consistent. Not in how often you talk, but in how you show up. She may not hear from you every day, but when she does, your words have weight. Your energy is calm. Your presence is real. That's what keeps her interested. That's what keeps her safe. You don't go from texting all day to disappearing for a week. That's not mystery. That's confusion. And confusion never builds trust. Instead, you move like a man with a steady pace. You're not always available, but when you are, you're present, focused, clear. You might not always answer right away. That's fine. But when you do respond, it's not half-hearted. It's not rushed. It's strong and intentional. That's what sets you apart. She'll begin to wonder, what's he working on? What's he focused on? Why does he feel so grounded, even from a distance? And that wonder is powerful because it's not based on fear. It's based on respect. You're showing her that your world doesn't revolve around attention. It revolves around growth, peace, direction. That's rare today. And it's something people feel even through a screen. Here's the key. Let her miss you, but not question you. Let her think about you, but not doubt you. Let her feel your distance, but not your disrespect. If she starts to worry that you're playing her, you've already lost her trust. But if she's simply wondering what you're building, what you're thinking, what's going on in your world, then you've done something right. A high-value man doesn't give everything away at once. He reveals himself slowly, over time, not to control, but to create depth. You don't need to post updates every day. You don't need to explain your every move. You just need to live well, and let that speak louder than words. Because when you move with calm power, people notice. And when you give just enough, but not too much, they lean in. So don't vanish. Don't ghost. Don't make her guess whether you care. Instead, live with purpose. Communicate with clarity. And let her wonder, not from fear, but from admiration. That's what makes her miss you. Not because you disappeared, but because the man she remembers is worth thinking about. And when you live like this, with strength, calm, purpose, something bigger starts to form. You're no longer just a man she misses. You're a man on a mission. And that kind of man, he doesn't just attract women. He He changes everything around him. Let's finish with the most powerful truth of all. Why a man on a mission is impossible to ignore. A man with no mission is easy to forget, but a man with a mission is impossible to ignore. That's the truth. A Stoic man doesn't chase people. He chases purpose. He wakes up with a reason. He builds. He improves. He moves forward, whether anyone is watching or not. And that kind of energy, it pulls people in. When a woman sees you focused on something bigger than attention, she feels something shift. You're no longer just a guy trying to impress her. You're a man becoming someone greater. That changes everything. You don't need to say much. Your actions speak. Your direction speaks. Your silence speaks. Because here's the secret. A man on a mission is already whole. He's not looking to be completed. He's building something, and the right people naturally want to be part of it. That's where true attraction comes from. It doesn't come from long messages or grand gestures. It comes from presence, from movement, from focus. And yes, she will notice. She'll notice the way you don't beg for a time. She'll notice how calm you are under pressure. She'll feel the difference between a man who needs her and a man who chooses her without losing himself. That's why the greatest version of you is not the man who tries harder. It's the man who knows where he's going. So build, grow, train, create. Be the kind of man who is busy with what matters. And watch what happens. Watch who reaches out. Watch who respects you more. Watch how your silence becomes magnetic. Because when your life has direction, everything else begins to align. You won't have to force connections. You won't have to guess how she feels. You'll attract what's meant for you simply by staying on your path. That's Stoic masculinity. It's not loud. It's not desperate. It's steady. It's grounded. It's powerful. And now it's your turn. If this message spoke to you, don't just think about it. Act on it. Start building that mission. Start living with discipline. Start walking like the man you know you're capable of becoming. And if you found value in this video, support the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let me know in the comments which part hit the hardest for you. And remember this, a man who knows who he is, a man who moves with purpose, a man who doesn't chase. He never has to beg to be remembered. Until next time, stay focused, stay silent, and stay true to your path.